What is brain rot? Have you ever spent 20 or 30 minutes scrolling through short videos, memes, headlines, and random posts, and afterward, you felt mentally tired, distracted, or strangely dissatisfied? You were entertained, you were amused, diverted, time slipped by unnoticed, but you weren't refreshed. It made you feel numb, or maybe even anxious, stressed, or exhausted. Even worse, you sometimes felt depressed afterwards. That experience is sometimes described as brain rot. Brain rot is a slang term for the feeling that your mind is becoming dull, distracted, or overstimulated from consuming too much low-quality online content. I'm Philip Telfer, and for over 20 years, I've been the director of the nonprofit organization Media Talk 101. I've been speaking to youth and adults across the country and in various other parts of the world about media, entertainment, and our use of technology. Brain rot is not a medical diagnosis. It doesn't mean that your brain is literally decaying, but it may be a cause of cognitive decline, especially your attention span, ability to focus, and the degrading of your memory. Brain rot is a catchy way to describe what many people experience after too much scrolling, too many memes, too many short videos, and too much content that's entertaining but not mentally challenging. In 2024, Oxford named brain rot its word of the year after usage of the term increased by 230% in just 1 year. Oxford defines it as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially from overconsuming trivial or unchallenging content, particularly online content. The popularity of the phrase tells us something. Many people recognize that their online habits are affecting the way they think and feel, even if they don't know how to explain it. Sometimes it's described as mental fog, that inability to concentrate when you need to. This phenomenon, referred to as brain rot, is a symptom of this generation's exposure and growing addiction to TikToksic, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and other scroller coaster feeds on social media platforms. Scroller coaster is just my own way of describing the habit or thrill or curiosity of getting on a social media feed like a roller coaster track. And once you get on, there's much that's out of your control. But you came for the ride. If it was a short ride, it may not pose much of a problem, but hours each day is undermining a person's well-being. Platforms have been engineered to keep your thumbs active, but not necessarily your brain. They know how to keep you scrolling. And today's platforms are algorithm-driven and know what bait to use to hook your attention. They display a vertical, visual buffet of curated options until you find something that appeals to you, for a few seconds at least. And then back to scanning the all-you-can-eat media buffet. This is diversion, not focused attention, diverted by eye candy, voyeur bait, curiosity traps, lust magnets, and it's habit forming, laying down neural tracks in the brain, well-worn paths of least resistance. By the way, the word amuse literally means to not think. Just because it holds your attention hostage doesn't mean your attention is getting better or upgraded. Scrolling low-quality, shallow content for hours is not giving you a helpful mental workout. It's actually degrading your ability to concentrate when you need to. Your attention is not just an on or off accessory in your brain. You have different attention systems. One is reactionary and another is focused. Reactionary attention is baked into us. We're wired to respond to movement, emotional stimulation, visual curiosity. Focused attention is different and requires training and mental exercise. This kind of attention helps you upgrade versus constantly feeding your reactive attention, which is downgrading your focused attention. Later in this video, I'll share some practical tips for how to increase your focused attention. But staring at your screen for hours while scrolling through hundreds of short, trivial, unchallenging videos is not an indicator of focused attention. It's causing harmful cognitive effects, resulting in chronic stress and depression for many people. Now, there may be a perceived irony here. I'm using an online video to talk about the potential problems of consuming online videos. But not all screen time is created equal. A video that teaches you how to repair something, understand history, learn a skill, or think carefully about an important topic, like this one, is not having the same effect as an endless stream of disconnected clips that keep your attention fragmented. The real question is not simply, was I looking at a screen? A better question is, what was I doing with my screen time? And what was that experience doing to me? Some forms of media invite sustained attention. They help us understand an idea, follow an argument, develop a skill, or reflect on something meaningful. Your mind needs to be exercised, to be challenged, expanded. It's not the easy path, but it's the beneficial path. Besides what's going on in your head, let's not forget your heart, which needs wisdom and discernment to make good choices. Much of the low-quality, low-value content is not just numbing your brain, it's desensitizing your heart. It won't be resensitized through doom scrolling. It generally does not gain wisdom through consuming hours each day of shallow content. Short content feeds are designed around rapid stimulation. Every few seconds, there's a new image, a new joke, a new controversy, a new face, a new appealing body, or a new emotional reaction, a new shocking scene. And before you have time to process one thing, another thing has already replaced it. This kind of content may not require much from us, but it can be very difficult to stop consuming. So why don't users stop? The design of many digital platforms has removed the stopping points. A book has chapters, a television program has an ending, a newspaper has a final page. But an online feed can continue almost indefinitely. When one video ends, another begins. When one post disappears from view, another's already waiting beneath it. You don't have to decide what to watch next because the platform decides for you. And because the content changes so quickly, the mind is constantly anticipating something new. Maybe the next video will be funnier or sexier or amusingly grotesque. Maybe the next post will be more interesting. Maybe the next headline will finally tell you something important. So we keep scrolling. Some studies are suggesting that there's a dopamine connection also. And I won't be surprised if it's confirmed to be a major culprit in the subject of brain rot. The problem is not that every individual video or meme is harmful. Many are harmless, creative, genuinely funny, and on occasion, even educational. The concern is what happens when this becomes our dominant pattern of fragmented attention. When we repeatedly train ourselves to expect something new every few seconds. Activities that move more slowly can begin to feel unusually difficult. Reading a chapter in a book may feel too tedious. Listening carefully to another person may feel too demanding. Sitting quietly may feel too uncomfortable. Prayer may become restless. Even watching a thoughtful video that's longer than 60 seconds, like this one, may feel too slow because our attention has become accustomed to constant novelty. That is why brain rot points to a deeper issue. What we give our attention to shapes us. And it's not only about the time spent on low content, it's about the time that we allow to be stolen from us that takes the place of doing more challenging and beneficial things with that time. If we constantly feed our minds with shallow, fragmented, and highly stimulating content, we shouldn't be surprised when deep thinking becomes harder. We shouldn't be surprised when reading becomes harder. We shouldn't be surprised when meaningful conversations become harder. And we shouldn't be surprised when prayer, reflection, patience, and self-control become harder. This doesn't happen because someone watched one silly video. It happens gradually through repeated habits. Our minds adapt to what we repeatedly choose to do. If we continually practice distraction, we become better at being distracted. There's a neuroscience phrase for laypeople like us. I first heard it from Dr. David Walsh when I interviewed him for my documentary Captivated. The phrase is this: what the brain does a lot of, the brain gets good at. If we practice reading, listening, reflection, conversation, creativity, and focused work, we can strengthen those capacities. It says in the book of Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, "A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life." It's a reminder that we're responsible for planting and cultivating the good things in our life. None of this means that every moment of media consumption must be serious, educational, or productive. There's nothing wrong with enjoying something entertaining. Rest and recreation can be good when kept in the right balance. The problem begins when entertainment becomes nearly constant, when we lose the ability to stop, or when shallow stimulation begins replacing the activities that help us grow. A healthy media diet can include entertainment, but a healthy diet cannot consist entirely of junk food. If we fed our bodies nothing but candy, we would understand that the problem was not one individual piece of candy. The problem would be the overall pattern. The same is true of our minds. The question is not whether a particular video is giving us brain rot. The question is whether our overall media diet is strengthening our ability to think, learn, relate, and exercise wisdom, or slowly weakening it. So, how can we begin recovering our attention? The answer is not necessarily to delete every app, throw away your phone, or reject technology. A better starting point is to become intentional. First, notice how you feel after using different forms of media. Do you feel refreshed, informed, and ready to move on? Or do you feel restless, mentally foggy, and compelled to keep scrolling? Second, restore some natural stopping points. Instead of opening an endless feed, decide beforehand what you intend to watch and when you intend to stop. Learn how to tame your notifications on your phone. Feel free to check out the blog posts and videos about that subject on our website and YouTube channel. Third, make room for slower activities. Read a few pages of a book without checking your phone. Steadily build your reading habits. Studies have shown that the habit of reading can lower the risk of cognitive decline. Reading also helps to stretch your focused attention span. Take a walk without filling every quiet moment with audio. Have an in-person conversation with your phone out of reach. Spend time in prayer or reflection without immediately responding to every notification. You may discover that these activities are initially difficult to concentrate on. That doesn't necessarily mean they're boring. It may mean that your mind has become accustomed to a faster level of stimulation. You need to retrain your brain and build better habits. I unplugged and went on a 2-week media fast at the age of 17. No video games, no TV, no movies, and no music. I didn't have to stop doom scrolling because none of us teens at the time even imagined a smartphone. The sci-fi TV show Star Trek's flip phone style communicators didn't enter the realm of possibility for us in the 80s. Most of us didn't have access to the internet or even know what it was. But I didn't just unplug. I spent more time reading the Bible in particular, since I'd grown up in a Christian home, went to church, owned a Bible, but rarely read it. And I certainly hadn't read it cover to cover. But I began to. More than 35 years later, I believe my reading habits I formed back then have contributed significantly to my cognitive growth in my adult years. I've read the Bible through more than 35 times. I have a large library of books in my home. I've read a significant number of them on the shelves. I can attest that it sharpens your mind, stretches your focus, and helps you build your ability to concentrate. But it wasn't easy to read when I started taking it seriously. So don't lose heart. Do the hard things, and you'll experience the benefits in time. My brain didn't turn to mush overnight as a teen, and it didn't get stronger overnight either. It's about new habits. Additionally, physical exercise not only benefits the rest of your body, it also helps your mind. Finally, don't merely remove shallow content, replace it with something better. Make something, learn something, read something substantial. Spend some quality and quantity time with someone you love. Engage in activities that require patience, imagination, movement, creativity. Get outdoors. Find a nice park. Turn your phone off for a while. Sit and practice the lost art of observation and wonder. You may start wondering if that's allowed. Don't worry, it's allowed. Go ahead. It's okay to stare at nature and ponder life, ponder eternity, ponder your creator. Brain rot may be a slang term, but it points to a serious reality. Our minds were made for more than endless scrolling. They were made to think, learn, imagine, worship, create, communicate, and understand. I'm afraid brain rot is going to continue affecting people and even morphing into more serious long-term problems for many people, whether young or old. But there's hope for those who are willing to begin building back what has been lost. Technology can serve valuable purposes, and digital media can communicate meaningful ideas. But we shouldn't allow platforms designed to hold our attention hostage to determine how our attention will be formed. So here's the better question. Is your media diet strengthening your mind or slowly numbing it? Media Talk 101 exists to help you find balance and regain focus in the digital age. Consider subscribing to continue this important conversation.